Boy, can I help you?
Listen up. I'm bringing you the best content to ever exist in the door-to-door industry, from sales, leadership, recruiting, and personal development.
Why would I need that?
Because never before have we been able to collaborate with the top experts in their industries, sharing their secrets and techniques on what makes them the best.
Wait, who are you?
I'm your host, Sam Taggart, creator of the D2D Experts and D2D Con. Is there a place we can sit down?
Well, come on in.
Vanilla is the fastest way to increase your Google and Facebook reviews through text. With a 98% open rate, Vanilla Reviews is the simplest, cheapest way to interact and engage with customers. Visit us at vanillagood.com for more information.
I'm Sam Taggart. Welcome to the D2D podcast. We are coming to you live from Puerto Vallarta, where we have 11 of the industry experts from pest control, solar, pest alarms, and roofing. We're guys that run $100 million companies down to guys that have run massive regions, over 100 people, to awesome leaders and influencers that are going to help you become the better versions of yourself. So we're here in Mexico on our D2D Experts Circle retreat, where we are a mastermind, a group of brothers that help each other in our businesses, personal lives, families, and much, much more. So we've designed this circle to unify and up-level the door-to-door industry, and these guys have seen a whole new level, a whole new shape to what that real mission means. Am I right?
Yeah.
Here we go. Okay, so what we're going to do, this is the first time I've done a podcast with a group of people like this, so this is going to be quite interesting. So if you're listening to this, this one is going to be powerful because it's a collective, co-creative podcast where we're going to birth. Let me tell you a little backstory on this. Yesterday, so if you're watching this live, yesterday we took people, and I'm gonna just let these guys tell the story. So we had quite a journey, and I'm gonna let Jake kind of tell this backstory of what we did yesterday here in Mexico, because that's gonna help form this podcast on really crafting our vision and understanding and asking the right questions. So Jake, tell us kind of what we did yesterday.
All right, I'm Jake Bennington. I am from Utah, and I work in pest control at Active Environmental. So yesterday, Sam attempted group homicide. And basically what happened was we had a 24-hour day fast. And that was a fast from talking. That was a fast from technology. And 12 of those 24 hours, he marched us through the jungle, along this river. We're like weaving out of wild hogs and stuff, and he drops us off at these locations, and we spent half the day completely alone, absolutely alone.
Full 12 hours.
Full 12 hours. They did not give us a break. They hit the 12. And is there more you want me to say?
No, so you were literally, some of you guys did sit with wild hogs. That was the crazy part.
I was laying down. I had a pig right here for like 20 minutes eating some nut that he couldn't figure out. So
yes.
Yeah.
So why did we do this? Why do you now know why I created that experience for you? 24 hours of silence. I'm talking like no talking for 24 hours. Was that, and this fast and this drop you in the jungle by yourself. Why?
I mean, it helps strip that other layer down. You're big on meditation. You're big on reaching your inner self. And sometimes you get, especially in this industry, you get so caught up, swept up. You're busy. Your mind just can't stop. And so we were able to be completely alone, not have distractions besides pigs, and be able to reach into our mind and really receive what messages that we've been blocking out because we're so busy. So we were able to meditate, be alone, think. It was really effective. I think for all of us, we had a really surprisingly good experience.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to move on. Jordan, I want to hear, what were some of the experiences this week? It could be yesterday. We've obviously done a lot of things. What have been some of the experiences or takeaways you've had just over this last week that's helped you to want to be a better leader?
Yeah, so I'm Jordan Clark from Utah as well. I work at Active with Jake, who was just on. This week's been super sweet so far. I didn't really know what to expect coming in. I got invited on it pretty last minute. And it's been awesome. Sam and Jonah are doing an awesome job of really helping everyone here get to know what their true self is. It's not what you'd expect. I was expecting more motivation, more training, more sales training, but they've done a really good job of getting everyone here to have a good relationship with each other, to really help you understand what you need to do personally to excel in whatever that is, in work, in your family life, in your business, in your spiritual life. So it's been awesome. I've learned a ton so far, and really looking forward to the next few days that we have left here.
So give us an example of something that you've learned that you're like, wow, this was some good leadership or influence nugget that I'm like stoked to like apply.
Yeah, so for me personally, I need to learn how to be a better leader, how to relate with my guys better. So something I've learned that I loved from Sam is how to help your recruits see your vision, your big picture, instead of just focusing on, for example, on one summer, to help them see what their big picture is and what your big picture is and what you need to create for them.
Cool. Okay, let's go here. Eric, what's something that you're inspired to become as a leader from this experience? Like, how are you inspired to be a better and bigger leader in your business? Being a CEO, running a company, what do you feel like you've taken out of this experience that you're like, wow, now I'm excited to go put this into practice with my business?
Yeah, I'm Eric Obrempt. I own D&M Roofing in Omaha, Nebraska. Something that I've really got out of this was learning about myself and how I really want to help unify people. And it wasn't really something that maybe I thought about before, but as we sat in the woods with the pigs running around and trying to get things figured out for us and our lives and what we were going to do, I kind of had a big epiphany of that I'm not here just solely for me, but I'm here to help other people and to maybe help unify our industry and people within it, whether that's sales reps or companies or owners or whatever it is. But that's the big takeaway that I'm getting from this.
Cool. Thank you. Brandon, so you lead a massive organization. You have 100 plus sales guys, cranking, one of the top 10 ADT dealers. How do you feel by taking time out of your business and applying these kind of things where you've retreated and you're investing into learning and you're investing into becoming a better leader and husband? How do you feel like that will trickle down into your business and being a better business owner and leader? How do you feel this is applicable?
Yeah, so I'm Brandon Barchon with America's Security, and I think it's one of those situations where I can't afford to go and I can't afford not to go. And I think as a management team, we've got to be careful not to hang around in the weeds and to be up at 30,000 feet, seeing how our organization is running and things that we can do to help everyone around us. And so coming here and spending time with other people that are doing the same thing that we're doing gives us the unique ability to see a different perspective and to understand, even if it's just the smallest little thing, of what we can be doing better that can make a dramatic difference on our business.
That's awesome. And super excited, guys. Just so you know, his podcast comes out next week. So you'll be seeing Brandon's post next Friday, whenever this is playing. So one more question for you. While sitting there for 12 hours in complete silence, what questions came up about life that you'd like to share? Like, by taking time and just being in complete silence for 24 hours, solo for 12, what questions were you surprised that kind of birthed from that?
I think it's the similar question that we all have is, where do I find happiness?
Okay.
And what I liked about my 12 hours alone was, I think our version of happiness changes as we grow. And if we don't take a step back every once in a while and say, okay, the definition of success for me was this, but now I've accomplished that. Now what's next? Because now I'm not feeling accomplished anymore. And so it gives you the ability to get out of your day-to-day maintenance and look within yourself and say, okay, I need to redefine myself. I need to redefine my purpose. Where am I going? What am I trying to accomplish? Who is it that I'm affecting by all these things that I'm doing every day, either in a good way or a bad way? And by isolating yourself and forcing your brain to shut down on the day-to-day maintenance and dive into the what's really important and who's really being affected by that, it puts things into perspective.
That's awesome. Thank you. No, I think it's crazy how oftentimes we chase the wrong thing. We chase happiness because the world's telling us having the big car, the big house, the hot wife, that all is the happiness, when they don't tell us about fulfillment. So one of the things that we did was Tuesday, which is where we served a lady named Ines. So those listening and watching, Tuesday we went to a old lady's house who just survived cancer, lives with her sister who's blind and is diabetic and was a hoarder. And she literally had a store that was just full. She's been bedridden for 2 years and completely deserted. And part of crafting this experience was around finding true fulfillment through the real things in life, like service. So I want to ask Aaron, what experience did you have dealing with Ines and service, and throughout Tuesday, how did that really show and bring to light some of this leadership through service?
This is Aaron Fowler with Orion Field Services in Northern California. Great question, Sam. It was a great opportunity because we had no connection with her, and so to serve somebody that you have no connection to was actually really uplifting to me to see the most humble experience that I've ever seen, obviously coming from the States to Mexico.
Yeah, first time out of the country.
First time out of the
this
country.
is awesome.
Tijuana really doesn't count, but
Yeah.
First time out of the country and seeing an experience like that, to have somebody that had practically nothing, living in a concrete house, and made me really grateful for the things that I have. But it was exciting to me when we sat down with her at the end and saw how appreciative she was of us, of 14 guys from America that she literally did not know we were coming. She had no idea that this was even going to take place, and we just knocked on her door and said, we're doing this, and how amazing that was for her to experience that. But it really uplifted me to just have that experience, to serve somebody I didn't even have a connection to.
Yeah, no, and I think a lot of times we forget that when we get outside of ourselves, we're really serving ourselves in return. It's just sometimes hard to grasp that concept, right? So to be a powerful leader, it has to be outwardly focused instead of self-centered, right? Because I think a lot of people see through the BS of like, it's about me, but it's about you, but it's really about me, and I've got my own agenda. But it's cool to be in a situation like that where, I don't know if you felt it, it was like we had no thing that we could ask her in return for. There was no agenda on our side. It's not like, so what do we get now because we served you? But I guess the next question, and this could be for somebody else, like Brandon, how do you see serving others with nothing, not asking in return, really being a better and a more powerful way to be a leader? Like by fully giving and with nothing in return expected.
Yeah, this is Brandon, CMR Construction and Roofing, Naples, Florida. I think when you give without expecting something in return, you actually get more in return because you're giving somebody something that they don't expect. Sometimes they don't even think they deserve. But in reality, you're serving them on a very high level, but it's also very, very powerful for yourself in the long run.
Have you seen that show up in your life in other instances than just this like simulated, or just that simple experience we did?
Even in my business, I try to serve my guys. I try to serve my customers. By serving my team, by serving my customers, I get paid back tenfold. It's not about me. It's about the team. It's about my customers. And if I do the right thing, I know, the money is going to follow, the rewards are going to follow, but just by doing something selfless like that, it's creating an opportunity for somebody else to also have a great experience along with you.
Cool. Josie, let me pass it to Josie here. So my question would be, let's kind of move on to just leadership in general and asking questions. So obviously, like, you've accomplished a lot. You run 100 plus dudes or whatever in multiple states. Not many roofing companies could say they've done over $100 million. Like, that's very impressive. What do you feel like simply taking time like yesterday where it was just silent and asking questions? What do you feel like by asking the right questions to yourself can do to impact you as a leader?
Yeah, so name's Josie Parks. I'm with CMR Construction and Roofing and J. Wills Enterprises. There's so much noise everywhere you go. Everyone is trying to get your attention. And so what's so beautiful about the experience we had is that we took all the noise out. And when you're talking to someone, the loudest voice you hear is the one in your head. And so you were able to own that voice in your head like never before, at least for me. I mean, getting out like this is not something I do often. And so, you know, really when I got there, that was my focus, like asking the questions. You know, I was telling someone earlier, like Zoolander, like when he looks in the water, who am I?
Exactly. We stared into that river, right?
Yeah, it's like in the water. But
watching the skeeters.
Yeah. And it was really that point where it's like, as a leader, who I'm showing up as, like when you walk in as a leader, it's showtime. So like all your personal baggage, like anything you have going on in your life, it does not matter because it's showtime at this point. You want to be vulnerable, you want to be real, but at the same time, they need your best self so they can become their best self. So asking questions, I mean, you definitely want to sit and take time to write out really deep questions that really challenge you in who you are and what you want to become, because we have to make decisions today as if we are that person in the future. And so you have to ask questions that guide you to your future self.
And we find it so noisy sometimes that we never even get the time to ask the question.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like we're so busy putting out fires that we're just like, what fire's next to put out?
Yeah.
And so often we just move and we actually are led by our business versus leading our business.
Yeah, we're like professional firefighters.
We're professional firefighters. And I think a lot of us in this room could probably relate to that, right? It's kind of like, man, like, I don't even get time to breathe. And then I go home and my wife's like, boom, boom, boom. You know what I mean? It's like, ah. So I would invite those that are listening and you guys, it's just like, how do you apply this moving forward? And I guess we'll keep it on you. Like, how are you excited to take a mini version of this? It's not every day or week you could be like, I'm going to escape for 12 hours, right? But like, how are you going to intentionally slow down or intentionally find time moving forward to practice this?
So this just reinforces one of my, before the year started, I sat down and wrote out a bunch of goals, and it was to really spend time daily, like 30 minutes, put my phone aside, and it's shooting the arrow. Shooting out, projecting to the future, my future self, and what I want to do and what I need to focus on, my top things I have to accomplish, because it's easy to do the task list, what's easiest, and I'm, a procrastinator in some areas, and so I put it off. And so like what I'm going to do moving forward is just go even harder with that, and to not have other things that I'm consuming during that time. And I'm going to try to really just get in my head and shoot the arrow without distractions. And so, because I really like that, not having anything to distract me and just in my head. So I'm going to do more of that.
Because one little thing, like one little notification, one little email that's on my mind, one little text, like can throw our complete focus over here. And I know one of your declarations was focused.
Yeah.
And it's like the inability to be focused is one of the bigger killers of success.
Yeah, fact.
So let's pass it to Zach. So Zach, this is interesting. One of your pain points or struggles in life has been, I don't really feel like I have a network or an environment that can support where my true vision and my expectation of myself is. How do you feel like investing in yourself and coming in? I mean, literally, you signed up for this the day before. So I want to acknowledge you for like, hey, I'm booking my flight for tomorrow to go to Mexico. That's like huge, ballsy. That one shows the group. It's like, bam, all in for success, right? But I guess my question would be, why environment? Why pay? Why invest into an environment? And how do you see by creating relationships like this of higher level people is going to affect you and your future?
So my name is Zach Johnson. I'm with Moose Roofing out of Omaha, Nebraska. And to that point, like, I do want to like give a big shout out to some of my teams watching that like they actually were there to support me in taking this leap a day, like to like
cool.
get
So
me to
do it, yeah.
busy week, and they all kind of like had my back and all that stuff. So that was good. The investment piece of like getting to meet with people who really have been there, done that, built teams of like that I couldn't even imagine. 100 person sales teams that's incredible. And so to be able to sit down with them and see how their mind works is like really the big thing I wanted to take away from this. And then just finding out that no matter where you are in life, really we're all walking and working through the same problems. And so that's really been like an eye opener for me.
Was that interesting as the exercise when we shared kind of some of our problems and things we deal with in life and business? Was it interesting to see some of the certain people that you weren't expecting to have the same issues that you do?
Yeah, I thought with that exercise we did where we kind of all put our heads down and put some things into the bucket and lifting our heads and seeing like how many people in the room were dealing with things that really you thought you were alone in. And then when you opened up about them and you could really discuss and kind of get some of that baggage out, and so you could be a better person and more of the light in the world, than the dark.
So how do you feel like being more intentional about your environment and your relationships about upping those dots on the ladder, as we say, like putting more people that are where you want to be in your crew. How do you feel like that's going to be a practice of yours moving forward?
Well, like even like looking at Josie's list and how he's so intentional about building those people that are maybe like a step above him on the ladder. That was a really big eye opener to me, like how long he's been focused on it for. And so like stepping into this now, I'm really gonna make that a practice, like moving forward. You know, there's a lot of great people or people that I run into and I get a business card and I don't follow up. And I'm like, I've got to be the one to follow up and to build those relationships now, because they have a lot of stuff on their plate, like I do too. And I'm realizing some people reach up to me and I don't like have the time. And so, but I got to be that kind of that squeaky wheel, get some of that grease and to set up a lunch or just a drink or a coffee. And I notice a lot of those people have like 30 minutes or 15 minutes, but that's a big deal to them. So you really got to respect it, but keep grinding.
Yeah, it's the people that are farther ahead of you in life don't see a reason to go meet with the people below them in life. They're trying to do the same practice you are with people that are above them in life, right? In success. And one thing that was interesting that birthed that I wasn't aware that was going to come up was it's not necessarily money. You know what I mean? It's looking at the people that are ahead of me in life in their relationship. It's like, yeah, I make more than them, but they're way better at their marriage than I am. So I'll put them as somebody I want to be intentionally learning from. Or, physical fitness or whatever it is. And it's how do we be intentional about the places we want to go and surrounding ourselves with people in those places, right? So I appreciate that. Okay, so moving on. Landon, this is fun. So Landon, my question is, for you, obviously you came into this last minute, you're younger in the industry than some of these guys. What wisdom can you learn from some people that have been in this for 10 plus years? Like kind of rookie advice for the rookie leaders of the world, like getting into management, those that are coming in, maybe it's their first year managing, maybe it's their second year managing. You being in that shoes, learning and hanging with some of these guys that have done it for 10 plus years, what advice now would you give them that are maybe not in this experience that they could take away?
Yeah, so I'm Landon Whitbeck. I'm with Active Environmental in Utah as well. Honestly, for me, sometimes I think I have a lot of the answers to a lot of things in life. But in all reality, you have to look beyond yourself and really listen with full heart to what other people are saying. There's a lot of people in life that have a lot of really good information to give you. You just have to take it and use it in your daily lives. Yeah.
So, for you, what was one of the things that you learned about yourself going into the jungle? Because you were struggling with sleep. You were struggling with being anxious because you're like, I got to get so much done. I mean, I have a million things on my plate. And I think a lot of people could relate to that in leadership. A lot of people are so stressed, so overwhelmed that they can't even sleep.
Yeah.
What did you find out there in the jungle?
So when I was just sitting there by myself, one of the things I deal with a lot is just going to bed because of all the noise in my head. I found 24 stones just in the river and set them all out. And I know we all know that there's 24 hours in a day. But when I laid it all out there, I was able to see like, hey, I can leave 7 hours out to go to sleep. It's not a big deal. And then as I started distributing the remaining rocks, I realized I had like 5 in my hand that I was like, well, where's this going to? So for me, it was just a really big aha moment, realizing that I was spending a lot of the time worrying about putting the rocks in the right category, when in all reality, I just need to do it. You know what I mean?
I love that.
And so planning out the next day, the night before, doing things like that to make it so that you're not so worried about the time of the day.
I love that. Okay, pass it to Danny. Danny, I have a good question for you. So, crafting a vision. A big focus of this week was helping ourselves understand our identity, understand our vision, understand our essence, our structures, behaviors. What would you give advice? Like, what advice would you give a leader that's struggling to understand their vision? They're struggling to understand, man, I can't even put pen to paper to figure out where to go. What advice would you give that leader that's maybe sitting there stuck?
So I'm Danny Hodge, CMR Construction Roofing, Naples, Florida. All my guys watching back home, kudos.
Much love.
Love my wife if you're watching. Miss you.
Hey, Mom. I'm just kidding.
Advice that I could give. I mean, sometimes you gotta sit back and you gotta you got to take time to yourself and kind of look what's going on around you and process things a little bit more. I think that was something that I've struggled with. I'm pretty new to the industry, and probably a lot of you don't know that. 18 months in the game. We had an incredible 18 months. 47 million sold last year.
Kudos.
Yes.
Kudos to the guys.
I think it's, the experience I've had here has definitely helped me realize a lot of things that, you got to take some time to yourself and process these things and try to figure out, how you can improve on yourself and what steps you need to take and seek out advice from others, guys that are a level above you, where they are, and if it's where you want to be, that's the guys you want to learn from.
I love that. What has been the biggest surprise this week that you've seen, where you maybe came in with some ego and you're like, wow, I was surprised I was able to learn by just dropping my ego? What have been some of the big surprises that you've learned this week that you maybe weren't expecting to learn that you want to share with people?
Yeah, so after having the year we had, obviously we have a pretty big ego. We had an incredible year. I think what really stuck out to me was some of Jake's systems that he implements, with making it more competitive. That really hit me, and it was like a kind of like an Easter egg, I guess, finding and it's something that I definitely want to implement with our guys. You can learn from all sorts of different markets, and I think that iron sharpens iron, and that's one of the big reasons I want to be here.
Love it. Thank you. Okay, Steven, I got a good one. Unification. What have you found that's been surprising? So we're obviously all these different industries coming together. Part of my mission was to unify, up-level, and bring honor and integrity to door-to-door selling. We obviously met in Los Angeles, where I spoke at the IMG. Steven's in the front row, eating it up. I'm like, yeah, this is my tribe. I love it. We're boys. Anyway, comes out. You probably didn't even know some of these other worlds, like alarms and satellite and solar and pest, and you know what I mean? So what has been some surprises that you found through the unification of leaders and this tribe, now seeing it on a deeper level? What's been surprising or come to fruition for you?
Sure. So I'm Stephen Pritchard. I'm with Stormade Restoration. The biggest thing is when I met Sam at IMG, we connected. Like you said, we're boys, part of the tribe. He touched a little bit about the alarm, solar, pest, and he was talking to me about this inner circle. And, at first I was kind of iffy about it. But then as I told Sam, I'm signed up, I'm all in, we're doing this, I got to thinking. And I'm thinking, you're bringing all these different industries together in one place. And the biggest thing that can come about is all of our techniques that work for us to be successful that can actually go into other industries. And that's kind of the biggest thing that I personally was excited about because, obviously, Jake, who can go out and recruit 8 months out of the year and just retain and find them, well, that's huge turnover, in the roofing industry. And, picking the brain of him or talking about it with Brandon from the security side and what works for them when they knock doors. Because at the same time, what's coming in is, we all do the same thing.
Different widget.
We all knock doors. It's nothing to be ashamed about. It's how we make a living, a very good living. And it's something that, Sam was either a godsend or something just to see the fact of the perception of door knocking was taking a turn for the worst. And
hey, you didn't even come to door Con. He's already embracing it. Yes, love it.
And the biggest thing is he believed that it was his calling to change that. And I think when he decided to put this inner circle together, he definitely held that close to heart, and he saw the potential that each industry, in the different manners in which they use door knocking, can benefit from each other. So, that's what's been mind-blowing to me, from everybody's backgrounds to their stories, how they go out and find guys, how they approach the doors and things like that, I think's huge.
Love that. So Eric, I got one for you. You're coming in out of Omaha, Nebraska, door to door. You're like, I don't even knock doors. My guys do that, whatever. How do you see door to door from being in your own little world? You know, you live in your own little bubble. Now opening your eyes to a whole nother national bubble. How has that changed your perspective of how your business could now be?
Wow. You know, I'm going to say we dabbled in door knocking.
You're amateurs.
Yeah.
That's what I
if
said.
my guys are watching now.
Yes, kudos
you're not
to the
gonna
dabbling.
dabble anymore,
Yeah,
fellas.
yeah. They're like, crap, how's he coming home?
Yeah. There's going to be no more dabbling. We will have systems in place. I've learned so much about how other people do it in different industries, which is what's crazy. And I know that's been touched on about 9 times now. But to hear how different industries do it, and you know, make it a system and make it a culture and make it a competition, and everybody buys in, right? And that's the big thing, is getting everybody to buy in. I'm super excited to go home to get my guys to buy in, because I will get them to buy in because of everything that I have absorbed here. I'm really excited.
Yeah, because I travel around and speak so much around the country about this. And I watch so many companies over and over and over again dabble.
Yep.
And I go, guys, stop dabbling, buy in, commit, put a system in place, and I promise you'll get 10x the results.
Guys want to knock one door and get 10 referrals and sit back and hope for it.
Hope for the call.
But if they knocked 100 doors, how many referrals are you getting off of 100 doors? And guys just don't want to do that in our business. Because sometimes those numbers are so much higher, so they see one, you know what I mean,
and they're satisfied. They're hungry.
Yep,
they're like,
yep.
okay, I got it.
They're not hungry anymore. Like they had dinner.
They had dinner.
Yep.
They went home.
Yep.
They
Yep.
called it good.
Yep.
And it's so interesting. Us as leaders, and we all deal with it. We sit with complacency, and we sit with our, oh, we made what we needed to make. Oh, we recruited what we needed to recruit it. And we fail to really accomplish what we truly are potentially able to do. Like, we don't ever reach our true potential. And I feel like it's the benighted. I talked about this at Door to Door Con. We just don't know what we don't know. And so by networking and by environment and by pulling things from the behemoths and the little guy and the big guy and putting it all in a circle, has it not been like, wow, like, there's a better way? And I'm sure some of these guys that are running these big teams are kind of like, wow, what if we did this and this and this? So what's powerful is we're able to collectively create a better outcome for everybody. So super excited to see results. You know what I mean? Working together with the university. Jonah's coming out there, when are you going out there?
2 weeks.
2 weeks?
Yep,
so
2 weeks.
I hope in 2 weeks when Jonah goes out there, it's like, boom, we've already seen some results. And then in a month, we'll have a call and it'll be like, boom. Because as a group, aren't we excited to hold each other accountable to each other? I mean, Frick, you even said, I want to go create a charity and a unify my roofers in Omaha. So if you're watching this and you're in Omaha, Eric's going to be reaching out and publicly announcing this to the world now.
Yeah, if you don't join, you're then on the blacklist. So yeah.
So you're going to publicly just be like,
Shame.
dude, I'm going to unify the roofers, right? And
Right.
you have a new vision. It's like,
Right.
why don't we, next to each other, that we're all in the same, it was so funny, you guys almost slept in the same bed out here. 2 random roofers from Omaha, Nebraska happened to be in the circle. 2 different companies. Like, the chances of that. But doesn't it make you more excited to say, wow, we can learn each other and support each other and keep each other at a higher standard by cooperation instead of competition?
Yes, I'm super excited about it.
Love it. Okay. Thanks, Eric. So one more. Okay, I'm going to ask, so everybody's kind of gotten a quick question. Now I'm going to ask the same question, keep it to a short answer. But what I want is a quick little answer for leaders in this industry. So the advice is, my best advice in a nutshell is, for a leader in this space, because we're all leaders here, my best advice for a leader is, and then pass the mic to your right or left or whichever way we start. We're going to start here. So if you're listening to this, these guys are leaders that run massive teams, have built businesses, and I'm excited to hear this. Just being a leader, I'm humbled to be in this circle, people. So this is an honor, and I appreciate how you guys have shown up this week. I appreciate how you guys have been for each other and willing to give and receive. So just this podcast alone, it's fun to hear the secrets from the best. So if you're watching this on Facebook, this is the part where it's going to get really fun. So my advice for leaders is, or my one short piece of advice for a leader would be, and I'm going to start here with Jake, and we're just going to pass the mic this way.
My advice would be to have the abundance mentality as a leader. Sometimes we get really caught up in how much we can earn and our margins and all this different kind of stuff, and that's very short-sighted. And you won't retain people that way. So have the abundance mentality. Take care of your reps and invest time into them. Let them know that you care. They're not a number, they're a person, and then you'll have growth.
Yeah, my answer to that question would be, and it's the thing I took away from this, like I said, is to see the big picture. Don't get caught up so in the right now, but set a goal, set a vision, and see where you want to be in, 1 year, 3 year, 5 year, 10 year, and really see that big picture and do everything every single day to get to that big picture.
Yeah, if you don't know where you want to go, I always tell people, I'm like, it's the island. If you get dropped in the ocean and there's no island to swim towards, which direction do you swim? If you're able to paint the big picture, if you're able to spread the word and show people that vision, there's a direction to swim towards.
I think my biggest takeaway as a leader is going to be like build a structure where people have an opportunity for true growth. I've always been one that wants to grow, and as a leader, I've really not set that staircase up for my people underneath me, and so that's my biggest takeaway as a leader. Absolutely.
And I think, guys, if you're in the roofing business listening to this, that's my one thing I teach a lot, is the whole model is built for failure. It's just the structure of it is simply be a salesman forever, and I own the company, and it's salesman to owner, and if you ever want to move up, it's you start your own company. But there's better structures to say, I want to build a path of growth. I want to inspire you to be a bigger and better player and build teams and manage and feel the fulfillment of building.
Correct. Yeah.
So as a leader, we have to take audacious action, measure the results, adjust your actions, take more audacious action. Then comes Big Mo, baby, momentum. And yeah, I love that thing. So poison or fuel. You have to remember that you have two things, poison or fuel. So we're not going to have instant gratification. So things we want to happen, it will not happen instantly if it's something that's a huge obstacle we're overcoming. So it just takes time. And so just endure. You can do it. And growth mindset always wins.
My best piece of advice would be to co-create, take advice from others, and be humble enough to collaborate with others, because if you ever think that you have all of the answers, you're dead wrong. You're going to fail more than likely if you don't take advice from others.
My advice would be committed to your process, be committed to your company, and definitely be committed to your family, those that support you, and find balance in those things.
Hasn't it been wild to see how much family has actually trumped business in this week? I mean, we've talked probably more about our families, marriages, personal relationships than business. Mm-hmm. And they go so hand in hand. So I'm super glad that you brought that up. So Aaron's wife, we love you. We're super excited to meet you. Much love.
My answer to that question would be create a culture that is ever evolving. You gotta make it fun for the guys. You gotta change it up so it doesn't stay the same. I think that's very important. Never stop becoming a better version of yourself. Evolving yourself as well, and definitely always take time for your family and make sure you put them higher than business.
Well done. I think I need a taste of that medicine.
So my biggest piece of advice kind of goes along with his is culture is everything. If you don't have good culture within your team, within your business, within your company, then there's no way that you can build together into something that you want to be in the future.
No, it's so many people focus on pay, money, that's a byproduct of a good culture.
Absolutely.
It's a byproduct.
Yeah.
So there may not be an industry that requires more failure than what we deal with. So my advice would be simple: fail, tweak, and repeat.
Yeah, and I'm sure as an owner, you fail in multiple times.
majority of time. Yeah.
My advice to a leader is care about your people more than you care about what happens to you. Because if you bring them up, everybody is going to succeed based off of that. And do it genuinely because, I mean, people know. It kind of goes back to us giving and going to the lady's house and cleaning. We all went there, to help her, not to help ourselves. But in the end, we got back what we gave. So if we give to our people, we're going to get back 10 times that.
So, my advice will pretty much grab almost everybody's. I'm a firm believer when growing or doing anything to have fun, to make it you're doing something you love and you're building something. Sure, there's going to be hard times. Sure, there's going to be the ups and downs. But if you don't create the environment, the culture, anything to where your reps are excited to come in, or if your reps are dreading going in or going out knocking, it's not, you're not gonna be successful. It might look like you're successful on paper, but again, you might be hitting the reset button every year in and year out, which is a nightmare because you always have to go find those new recruits. You always have to train those new recruits. You always have to repeat, and it's not always the best idea. So I think a fun environment, an environment that allows your people that you guys hire to come in wanting to work for you or wanting to be the best and prove to you that they are the best, and giving them the power in the vehicle to be successful. So that's my advice.
I love it. Hey, thank you guys so much for showing up. Like this was cool. This was my first for everything, right? Let's give this podcast a big 2 clap. Love it. So out here, we've broken through transformation. We got one more day. And if you're watching or listening to this, this is your opportunity to become a better leader. Go invite friends to watch this. Go rewatch this. This has been awesome. A lot of good content. If you're interested in the circle, hit us up. Hit me up on DM. We're very selective on who we want in this group because of the sacred level of leadership that we have in here, that their commitment level is where it's at. So let us know. And we're excited for you guys in your transformation. We're gonna stay posted. We'll keep you guys posted too. So much love, appreciate you guys, and we're out.